Shalom, coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the whole elect pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is going to be titled Patience is a Virtue. It's going to be an important one, but also short at the same time. Right? Going to the word patience. Because having patience is a very beautiful skill, trait, Quality of being willing to bear adversities. Calm endurance of misfortune, suffering. Right? So to have patience, you have to suffer. And people that suffer, endure the suffering, have patience. Because they understand it's going to come out of something, right? That's why the scriptures say with much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding will be the stability of thy times, right? Because you're going to be going through a lot of suffering during those times. The times that we're coming into just now, right? A lot of suffering is going to come, and it's already happening slowly. It's going to get worse. But the ones that endure are the ones that have patience because they understand and see the end game, right? They understand what's going to be waiting for them at the end. So that causes them to have that ability to have patience and suffer, right? And your patience possesses ye your souls. So through patience, through suffering, is how you obtain possession of your spirit, your soul, right? So you have to be patient to obtain that control, to gain your soul back, so to speak, right? Because also through suffering, the tribulations that we go through, we're also purifying ourselves. So we have to suffer to clean ourselves anyways, to obtain our souls, because we've been dirty and tainted from this place that we're living in, right? So we're going to go to Romans 8:25. But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. Yeah. So we hope for the kingdom, right? We hope to get our bodies changed. We hope for to have the scriptures put in their inward parts. We hope to never work again, to be rulers, joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. We hope for all these things. But we can't see it. You can see certain things happening, but not really. We can't see all that. Right? So that's through patience. And patience is suffering because we have to suffer before we can even get into those things. But you have to suffer, right? And be patient for something you can't see. Right? Which is faith. Right? Which is faith. So the hopeful elect are waiting patiently for all the promises of the kingdom through suffering. You have to suffer. So anytime you're in like an impatient mood, you're just going to get things done, whatever. Remember that you're being impatient is causing you actually not to suffer. Where the Most High says that he's Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, Yahweh says he's pleased by suffering. So it pleases him when you're suffering. So you're trying to not do that. So by doing that, you're actually trying not to please the Most High. You're not pleasing the Most High when you don't suffer, when you're trying not to suffer. Right? It doesn't mean if you see a pile of fire, go jump into the fire. That's not what it means. But when you're in a situation that you've been put in, then you're supposed to suffer because you're in that situation for a reason. So you have to understand that you're supposed to suffer here. It's not a situation where you're supposed to try and get out of it, And everyone has, every brother, everyone has their own, furnace, right? Designed for them. Their hot furnace designed for them. Romans 15:5. Now the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? And the God of patience is Yahweh. Right? Yahweh is God of patience. Notice how patient he was with Israel. Right? That's just a perfect example. How many times Israel went off, Israel broke the commandments, you know, but yet he was still patient with them, right? And he's a patient power because, like, he waits. He waits and he waits and he waits, especially Esau. You know, with Esau, he's very patient with Esau, letting the wickedness get worse and worse and worse until it's the right time, and then boom. When he brings the judgment, Esau can't say anything. He can't say that I wasn't wicked. He can't say I didn't know this and that, right? Because it all comes from patience. That's why he's a master chess player, right? He created chess. And chess is a game of patience if you played it. You have to be very smart, very cunning, right? So the last one, Revelations 13 and 10. Sluck. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints, the hopeful elect, really the elect, right? Which are hoping to be one of the elect because they don't know if they're the elect. But they're patiently waiting through suffering, because patience means suffering, enduring, right? And they're going through it because they're here. All the elect are here, right? No one knows who they are. But the hopeful elect are all suffering in their lots, you know, paying for the sins they did in their past life and in this life, right? And through that suffering, which pleases the Most High, you know, they're being patient because they're waiting, because they know what's coming, because they understand the scriptures. They know that, you know, their enemy's going to be put into captivity, you know, that they're going to be ruling with Yahushua as joint heirs. You know, that they're never going to have to work again. They're going to be kings, you know, and princes, right? Our bodies are going to be changed. You know, we're never have to study the scriptures. It's just going to be, we're going to be the scriptures, you know? All those things, they're patiently waiting for it. But you have to go through suffering to do it. You have to suffer, right? So that's not that. I just want to make it quick but important that, you know, when you're going through something, when you're in a uncomfortable situation, you just have to remember that, you know, you're being tested right there, you know, and the Most High is pleased by suffering. So you're supposed to suffer. If you want to please him, you're going to suffer, right? Only in situations that you've been put in. Obviously, it doesn't mean go put yourself in a situation to suffer, because the Most High, that's not being smart, right? So, yeah. And just remember that it's a test, and you're going to obtain patience from that situation, right? Think of it as experience points. You know, you're playing a game and, you know, you're obtaining experience points. That's what I always try to do with myself. Anyways, if this lesson was edifying to a hopeful elect, I'd like to close out by saying, Ka Hala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Death and destruction to his wicked kingdom, and 2/3 as well. Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal, Shalom.